Rob and Slim, we are back with Joey only. Joey only, Cariboo weather dude.
Smoking the hookah there? Can you hear us, Joey?
Yeah.
Yo,
All right.
what's up, dude?
Yeah, a hookah.
Bong.
That's what I was smoking.
Bong, hookah, same thing. I don't know. I don't smoke either, so.
How's it going? Is this who I'm talking to? Is this Image?
This is Rob with the finger up and Slim and the Superman.
You can't see our video? Let's see. Yeah, you should be able to see the video. I guess you just can't.
I think.
No, I can't. I just see a picture.
That's crazy.
Oh, well, I
okay.
switched it. You might have to give it a second. Maybe it's just on a delay.
But that's okay.
All right.
What do you do, Joey? You everything I saw, it looks so super cool. You chase storms, you do a whole bunch of stuff up there. I saw you climbed mountains, like you fought animals,
Right.
That's amazing stuff.
Right now, I'm not doing a whole bunch of a lot, but I've been hanging out in Clearwater. Yeah, I fight animals sometimes. Why not? It's no, this is true story. I have a. There you are. This is a true story. I like fighting animals. I really do. It's part of this farm kid thing that I had in me still.
Wow.
And then we moved out to the swamps of central Ontario, and it's like the bayou there, right? Snapping turtles and snakes and all kinds of stuff. And I was always messing around with everything I could find in the swamp, messing around with the animals and befriending moose and all kinds of weird shit. I chased bears off, and I've had that kind of life. And living in BC is just been a step up of it, really, in some ways. Wow. There's less small animals here. Am I lagging on you guys?
It's a little.
It sounds like there might be a delay. Can you hear us? There might be. There's
little bit of a
definitely-
delay,
Yeah,
I
there might be a
feel,
delay.
Joey.
I'm not really sure why. Usually that's not an issue.
It's weird. It's like you're in Europe.
Yeah. I don't know. Usually we don't have any.
Let me try.
It's like the old days when you'd call to Europe and you'd have to wait 5 seconds to talk to something. You know, you'd say something, then.
Yes.
Did that fix anything? I tried to.
Well,
I just stopped the recording because we're recording in the other thing anyway. Any better? No. It's
And
weird.
then
Oh.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
And then like being at my mom's out in the swamp, she had dial-up internet to this day, right? And it's like you'd read a page of your book and put in your name and password to your Facebook, and then you'd read another page of your book.
fucking dial up, man. That was
Things have come a long ways.
It was rough times. Oh my god. What's the scariest animal you've been up against?
You know, to be honest, farm animals tend to be like. I'll give you an example. Like, you can run into 500 grizzly bears and not have one tear your face off, but if you have one ornery bull on the farm and his kids, and you want to like cross that pasture to get to somewhere else, you know, and you know that's a shortcut, so you have to like have rodeo clown sort of style where one kid starts to run across and then the bull turns and chases him, and then that's when you jump out and yell, "Hey!" and then the bull starts chasing you, and then eventually both of you make it. But the thing is, that bull every time would try to kill you, right? Not like 1 in 500, like every time.
Yes.
Right. So you think about the wild animals, and like what I tell people too here in BC is like people being killed by a wild animal is actually a very, very rare thing. You know, but what does happen is, say this summer, you might have 75 people drown in the rivers and lakes of British Columbia. You might have 1 or 2 people killed by lightning. You may have wind breaking branches off trees kill 3 to 5 people. 100 to 200, 300 people might freeze to death in the winter. We had, I believe, close to 15 avalanche deaths in the Rocky Mountains and in BC this year.
Wow.
The most dangerous thing you do when you work in the bush is you get in a vehicle and you start driving, and possibly you're the passenger. That's even worse because the lunatic beside you is like, right on, I get to drive a company F-350 and start speeding around the logging roads, and people not calling kilometers and doing, the most dangerous thing in the bush is vehicles and the machinery you operate, right? So that rare time that someone gets killed by a bear, it becomes such a newsworthy event, but really it's not. That's a really overblown thing, and there's so many misconceptions about animals, and people don't live, I don't want to mean to say in harmony, but with some sort of relationship with animals as if they are other beings. So it's like, I'll give you an example. I like back home at Mom's house, we didn't have deer hunting right around the house. And I like the deer, so I'd often just chase them off. They want to be close to the house and like, no, get out of here. Animals annoy me. Some are jerks. I think that's in their nature to be very jerky. We have some classic jerks around here. One known as the pack rat, which is just loves to get into your house, and if it gets into your place while you're gone, and then it starts to inhabit and nest, it'll start stealing your things, and then it will shit in your bed.
Wow.
No, that sounds like a real a-hole.
And then when I'd be hiking, if I never liked hiking much in doing canoe trips in provincial parks and in national parks, because the campsites are all pre-established, which is a good thing because it cuts down the amount of damage done to the wilderness. But what that does is, and everyone's worried about the bears when they go out there, but then when you get to this campsite that's been used for 20 years, all the chipmunks and mice and squirrels are just sitting there waiting
for snacks. They want some food.
You can't do anything to keep them out of your backpack in a wilderness adventure if it's at a chosen campsite like that, right? And so that was like some of my experiences. But to be honest, like going back to the cattle thing, I was telling John here one day that when I was in Alberta, I was down in southern Alberta, pretty close to the U.S. border in an area called Twin Butte, and I started going for a long walk out into the forest, and sorry.
Tell John you're recording. Tell him to stop being noisy. Noisy.
Go, John.
Get out of here, John. Go away.
Shoo.
It's okay. So I went for this long walk, and I was out and then I got this sense that something was out there, like I wasn't quite alone, like and maybe it was birds or squirrels or something I heard, chattering off in a certain area, and I was like, oh, who's over there? Something's up. And so it was pretty open aspen forest, so I found kind of a shrubbier area, just kind of settled into it and got quiet for a minute and started looking, and I noticed that there was movement and things going off, but I couldn't quite see it yet, so I kept waiting. And of course I'm thinking like, hey, maybe a grizzly bear is coming through, like maybe I'll just lay low and let him pass by or something. But then when I seen what it was a giant, like 2,000 pound steer, like a bull. It was in someone's free ranging farm area, right? And this bull was just out in the pasture, and I was like, oh my God, this is way worse than a grizzly bear. So I kind of sat tight and waited till he wasn't really paying attention my direction, but he knew I was there too. He had his sort of ears up and was on the look. So then I kind of did a long sort of flanking action back to the edge of the tree line, and there was a fence line some distance away, a couple 100 yards. And I figured, well, if I can get to that fence line, I can get away from this guy. So I sort of waited to see, and then he came out a couple 100 yards out in the forest at the tree line as well. And he's, so I start hoofing her, and I get running, and he sees me, and he starts running, and he's getting closer and closer, but the fence is getting even closer. And then finally, at the last second, I slid underneath it as if I was like, stealing second base or something, right? Just woof, and he was maybe 15, 20 feet behind me, and yeah, you bastard. And,
Gotcha.
You know, this other time where I when I lived in Vancouver for a while, I'd leave my I lived sort of in a basement that was of a nice house so in my bathroom window, I'd leave it open so the cat could come and go. But over the course of a week or two, I'd noticed the scent of something, like as if a feral cat had been in my house and pissed in it or something.
Yeah.
You know, I just like, wait, my cat's fixed. Like, he's not spraying in my house. Yeah. So I started getting into my head at night to you know, vary and stagger when I close the window and not leave it open all night and stuff. And when I'm gone. And so this one night I'm just working away, and I hear this cat eating food voraciously, and I thought, that's not my cat. He doesn't eat like that. And I sort of sat back and looked, and there's this great big fucking gray tabby looking, you know, street cat or something, right? Didn't look like he was loved by anything. He looked like a shitty cat. And so I go, but what had happened was 20 minutes before that, I'd been in the bathroom and I was taking a dump, and I looked over at the window being open, and I thought, well, I better close that, make sure that cat can't get in the house tonight if there's a cat. I didn't know for sure. So what had happened was when that cat went to leave, the window was already closed. So he ran into that little bathroom and jumped up in the window, and he just fucking hit himself so hard in the window. And I ran in behind me and behind him and closed the door behind me. And they're having this sort of narrow space with them, and he sort of switched sides with me. He tried to go to the door, but it's closed now too. So we're trapped in this bathroom, and I opened the window and said, "Get out!" And he jumped up on the window ledge right there with me. But then right before he went out, he turned and then got on his haunches, and he was like right at face level, right friggin' there, right? He's like, and I didn't change my expression or anything, but I remember in my brain going, holy shit.
This fucker's angry.
I'm about to get my face mangled by a cat. Like, I just, you know, and so for all the cattle and all the bears and all the things I've done, you know, it's like sometimes it's the animals that are most used to humans that.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say it was like a lynx in there or
Mess you up
something,
the worst.
like some wild cat in there.
No, just a giant feral city cat that.
I used to have an outdoor cat that I used to take care of, and one night I went outside out in the backyard where her bowl and all was, and I thought she was coming up for a bite to eat of cat food, and it was a fucking skunk. I don't know how this skunk got to eating the cat food, but the skunk fucking didn't care. The skunk was eating it, and I was like, oh, hey buddy, how you doing? And once I realized it was a skunk, I jumped and ran in the house. Like, I was freaked out.
They're quite sociable and nice animals, but the thing is, once their thing, you know, once it happens, it happened. I've had a couple skunk encounters that were, you know, somewhere like I ended up being really close to them, and I was like, "Hello, you," and just sort of melt backwards, you know.
I'm just gonna go back here, buddy.
I was drunk at Mom's house, and she had this cat that always lived outside, right? And we were playing Trivial Pursuit all night, and I was beating her, and she went to bed fine. And you know, it's like maybe 15, 20 years ago, and so I'm sitting there drinking, and then I hear this cat we had, this who was just this outside cat only, and I've seen him chase off black bears and foxes and all kinds of things. Like, no, his dish was his dish. Everything but raccoons he would put up a fight with, right? And he made this like sort of awful noise outside, and I was like, what's going on? And I come outside, and I see nothing, and I close my eyes and hold my breath and listen, and I detect something's underneath the car, and then I hear it kind of some more, and I think it's this I thought it was this porcupine that we had living nearby. We called Charlie, you know, and I'm drunk, and I grab this snow shovel that's there, and I'm like, Charlie, get out from underneath there. I think he's chewing on a brake cable or something, right? And I'm pushing on this thing, and I can feel it's resisting. It's not just leaving, you know, it's pushing back, and then I just, oh, you're not Charlie. It's, ooh, and it just, that poor car, and Mom's best friend borrowed that car it was planned to borrow that car 3 days later for like a week to drive it. So you can have the skunk car.
You can keep it. I don't even want this fucking thing back. Yeah, no, you're not Charlie. You're Stinky. Wow. Joey, how did you connect with Frankie McDonald? I love that you did work with him.
Well, long story short, so yeah, we have the show called the COMEDEOROLOGICAL Report, and that's comedy plus meteorology equals comediology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, the show is now airing on 3 cities in Canada, CKU, UW in Winnipeg, CFUR in Prince George, and CFRO radio in Vancouver. So that's very cool, and we're looking for more stations, of course.
Yeah.
How this comes about is, first of all, I've had several personas and reputations that people know. People know me as Joey Only, the outlaw country band singer who's toured Canada relentlessly and does a Stompin' Tom Connors impersonation at casinos once in a while. And, but also in my whole life, I've been like Frankie in terms of obsessed with weather. And part of my touring, I'd make sure to be in Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba in June and July so that we could catch the big storms while on the road, right? And as you're driving across the prairie every day, you're gonna come across a lot of the systems just because you're going from today we're in Regina and we're going to drive to Brandon, Manitoba. That's 500 kilometers, and somewhere between here is that storm line. So we're going to meet on. So a great thing about being a touring musician is it does bring you into contact with all the elements across and all the people and all the places, and you get to really know the country very well and its weather. So a great deal of my storm chasing back then was done in that manner. When I was younger than that, it was hobby as well, right?
Yeah.
At some point, I decided to start this group called Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers on Facebook, and it's a BC-based group. And because the Interior BC doesn't get a lot of regular coverage by television networks and affiliates and as to what's going on in the interior, and it's often pretty interesting stuff here because it's rugged country, right? So I started this group, and now it's ballooned up to 6,300 people years and years later who are following it, and our posts get shared all over the place. So I've become known as Joey the Weather Guy. But so I've had these different personas that kind of mix and match in the world, and all my contacts. I was a radio host for years in Vancouver on CFRO, so it's really cool. On Mondays at 10:30, my old show Sound Resistance, still going 11 years after I left the Post.
Wow.
It's on at 10:30 to noon, and my new show is on at noon to 1 o'clock with Frankie. And yeah, very cool.
Cool.
At some point, I just called Frankie and said, I'd like to do sort of a comedy weather show. An equally bizarre and funny character as you are, and I think we could make something work.
Yeah, he said, I'm doing great right now.
He is a funny dude. He's so much fun. We've had him on. I can't tell you how many times. Yeah, like he's got to be like, as far as guests go, the guest we've had on the most over the years.
Yeah,
and we
definitely
have him on like every month.
Well, he's in love with you guys, so he's always talking about it, right?
It's mutual. It's totally mutual. We love him. We love him. Oh man, that's great though. And Joey, like,
so it's becoming a thing.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just gonna say it's becoming a thing. Like, we're getting more weather personalities and more comedians giving their takes on the weather across Canada and things like that through the episodes, right? So each episode is a little bit. Yeah, it's going somewhere.
I was thinking of doing a weather, like
it's going to grow.
I was thinking of starting like an extreme weather YouTube channel where I gave Slim, like I would slip some acid in his beer and I would be like, bro, it's raining outside. And he would open the door and I would just be out there naked and I'd be laughing and he'd be screaming and running into the kitchen and that would just be it. That would be it. It was just like extreme weather weather pranks.
I'll let you put the acid in my beer.
I would be out there just helicoptering, and he would just not be down with it at all.
What you call a prank in BC, we call it a beautiful gift. I'd be like, thank you.
Well, bonus.
Why have you done this for me? I'm so blessed.
It's about time, bro. Oh, that's great.
Really?
Well, I also saw though, Joey, I loved on your YouTube channel. I love seeing some of your songs. Like you just do some awesome music, man.
Well, we had this outlaw country band that one incarnation of it, like I've had lots of different sets of musicians over the years and in different parts of Canada, but some of those musicians like Ken and Sunger, a drummer who can multi-instrumentalist, I think he's played 450 or 500 shows with me, right? And then so once you've played so many shows in the Joey Only show, I mean, I haven't been playing much for a bunch of years now, but I'm hoping to be back. My kids are getting older, and I'm sober, and I'm really in an ass-kicking state right now. Cool. So he like did, once you play 10 shows in the Outlaw Band, you're like a patch wearing member, like you're in. So what that means is, if I have a core group of musicians on the road, a bass player, a drummer, and maybe a fiddle player or another lead guitarist or a pedal steel player, whatever, like whatever this core lineup is, like, all right, we're taking this on the road. Well, wherever we might show up, we might come across these musicians who've played in the one of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, well, maybe even 2,000 different Joey Only shows of some sorts that have happened in the 20, 25 years I've been out there, right? So they can show up and play in the band anytime they want. What's happened is I've had just these ridiculous shows sometimes in the past where, 8, 10, 12, 15 people on stage playing fiddle, piano, everything. Like,
wow.
So
sounds awesome.
The live show was really, the albums are cool, but the live show was really always what we were about, right?
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Playing harder, longer, not taking set breaks, out drinking everybody, out fighting everybody. Not really, but we were a unit. We worked together. Back at 15 years ago and whatnot, we would fund our trips across because back then you couldn't just get pot everywhere the way you can now in Canada. So and being in BC where you get cheap pounds, we'd make sure if we're going out to the prairies and people knew, like, go to they at their small town hotel, like, oh, the Outlaw Band's coming. Yeah, I could use a couple of ounces. Let's go to the show, to get that cheap BC awesome bud. So, mushrooms, sometimes acid. Like the Outlaw Band funded our trips back. That's not maybe how I do things these days necessarily, but I'm an older man with kids.
Yeah, is it going to be hard? Is it going to be hard going back into music, having become sober?
That's one of the things I've been thinking about. Like, I haven't played music much, even for, like, I've been playing my drums at home and stuff like that, but not really like working on my songs or anything for quite a while, like the last number of years.
Yeah.
And so I sat down the other day to start playing for the first time, and I was just like, I couldn't even get through a song. I couldn't remember any of the lyrics. I was like, holy shit. And it made me realize, though, too, like, well, here's an opportunity to sort of, because all the songs I could easily remember were all those drinking songs that were, would get the bars just going, like, the ones with the most swearing and fastest country train beat, and where the bass player's just slapping it the hardest. Like, those are really fun songs, but in some ways, that I need to make a show now that and I'm ready for it, that a sitting audience can sit and watch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been able to do that for a long time. It's just I could make money easily in the bars, and that was the game, right? The more beer you sell, so, we knew that as a band. Like, if we take a set break, everyone's going to go home, and the bars, and so we'd play for 3 hours straight. Like, maybe I'd go take a leak, and someone else would take over singing a song, and we just kept playing, right? And the show never stopped. And that was one thing about the old Outlaw Band that was pretty legendary in that way too, is we outplayed people. We played right to the last minute.
Wow.
And sold so much beer that there was never a bar owner that was going to say, like, don't come back.
Yeah, like, that's amazing, though. That's at the same time, that's an acclamation. Like, that's amazing credit.
We could demand some money for our show because they were going to make some money.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome, Joey. Joey, we have to wrap this up, dude, but thank you. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate you coming on. We do, man.
It's because my son is turning 6 today, and his birthday party ends at 7. So that means I have to call him in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, go take care of that, dude. Absolutely, and happy birthday to him. And where can everybody find you?
Oh, well, the best thing to do right now is to get on that YouTube and subscribe and like Joey Only, Cariboo Weather Dude. That's where we put the uploads of the video version of the new show every week, every Friday. I also put up all kinds of mountain videos and outside videos. This week I filmed a thunderstorm that was pretty cool. Wildlife. We hiked to the top of a small mountain on Sunday, made a video of that. So Joey Only, Cariboo Weather Dude's great. If you do live in British Columbia, you can look up Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, our Facebook group there. But it's really BC centric. So there you go, Joey Only, the Cariboo Weather Dude. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers. That'd be super cool.
That would be. I am on the same. I'm on the same page. Absolutely. We'll get there, Joey. Yeah. Love you, dude. Thank you. I'd love to do it again sometime.
You guys are beauties, buddies.
As are you. Talk to you soon, Joey.
Okay.
Have
Take it easy, but take it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take it.